Hello, everyone. It's exciting to see you here. My name is Tamara and I am an academic here at the University of Sydney, and I'm here to talk to you about ancient Greek. Kia ora te, matetai. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the tradition of custodianship and law of the country on which the University of Sydney campuses stand, and also the land on which I currently sit, which is the land of the Camaragal people. So I pay my respects to those who have cared and continue to share for country. So as I said, my name is Tamara, and I'm going to share a little bit with you about studying ancient Greek here at the University of Sydney. So maybe it's something that you've thought about, maybe you're doing Greek already, maybe you just like to know a little bit more. So hopefully this presentation will help you make some good decisions around your future study. To begin with, this is the pathway to ancient Greek language that you would follow if you came to the University of Sydney. So say you're a complete beginner, you've never done Greek before, maybe you've done a bit of Latin, but your school doesn't have Greek. Well, when you come to the university, you can enroll in the introductory units. So in the first year, you've got 2 units. They're called 1000 level units. 1000 corresponds to first year. And you would do 1 unit in the first semester and a 2nd unit in the 2nd semester. But say you're a student that has done some Greek, so you've got HSC or IB Greek, then you don't need to do those beginners or introductory units. What you'll do instead is enroll in intermediate. Intermediate Greek is a 2-semester course, I suppose you could say. So we've got 1 unit in the first semester and another unit in the 2nd semester, not surprisingly. If you're a particularly advanced student, and this happens very, very occasionally, I think a couple of years ago we had the student who came top in the state, they can actually go straight into advanced Greek, but that is really, really unusual. Most students who have done Greek at school, either HSC or IB, come straight into intermediate. And while you might find some of the content quite familiar, there's also hopefully a lot of things that you haven't yet met, or it's an opportunity for you to review the Greek that you already know. And you'll be in a class with students who have already done a year of Greek. So it's quite a nice way to come and continue on your Greek journey. And then in 2nd semester, everybody's all caught up with each other and we get stuck into some reading. We do some prose composition, but really we focus on the language and the literature and really just getting to grips with knowing even more Greek. And then if you decide that you love Greek so much and you want to continue with it, you can go on into advanced, and we actually have 8 units that you can continue on with. Now I'm just going to go forward on my slides a little bit, okay? Once you get into advanced Greek, which is what you do in 3rd year, as I said, you've got 8 units to choose from, which is fantastic. So we run the gamut from quite early Greek poetry. So we start off with Homer and other Greek epic, all the way up to Hellenistic Greek. And we can even do the Greek of the Greek Bible. So you've got a lovely choice of units to engage with. And whichever way your interests lie, whether it's prose, whether it's poetry, whether it's historiography, whether it's tragedy, we've really got all your bases covered. So let me continue on. Hopefully you've got some questions about this. If you like, you can continue into honours. So honours is a 4th year of your arts degree. And in this year, you can explore ancient Greek in more depth. And the way it looks is that you'll enrol in 2 units of ancient Greek again, but you'll do extra work. So you'll do another essay, you'll do an extra text. So for instance, this year I took the advanced students through Demosthenes, and we did a couple of his speeches, and then the honours students read another speech on top of that. So it's a fantastic opportunity to read both widely and also in depth. And as well, in honours, you write a thesis. So you write a 20,000 word thesis and you can explore any Greek topic that you like, whether it's to do with the language, whether it's to do with the literature, whether it's to do with the history, all of those sorts of things. And then what do you do after you finish your degree? Well, in fact, having a degree in ancient Greek gives you a fantastic knowledge base, but more particularly, learning Greek, being trained in Greek is fantastic for your ability to think. You've really developed a discipline around thinking, you've developed a discipline around acquiring knowledge, and those sorts of skills are transferable, and they're the kind of skills that employers are looking for. So don't think that just because you do ancient Greek, you don't have a job. If you don't want to be a teacher of Greek, say, the kinds of skills that you acquire in an arts degree, and in particular by doing a classics degree, are incredibly transferable and will be with you for life. So now that we've covered the basics of doing a degree in ancient Greek at the University of Sydney, let's take a look at some ancient Greek. So for those students who are thinking about doing Greek and think, I'm not really quite sure if I want to do it, I don't know if I can do it, well, guess what? You actually read and speak ancient Greek already. Yeah. So here on the slides, I've got the alphabet. Take a look at them. Look at all those letters. Are any of those familiar to you? I bet they are. Can you work out, for instance, which of those letters are vowels? Let me show you. Alpha. Here's one that looks like an E. We call that one epsilon. Here's another one, iota. You recognise that one. Here we've got one that looks like an O, omicron. And then for some of you, you may be familiar with this one. It looks a bit like a U, and you'd be right. It's an upsilon, and over here is the omega. So they're letters that would be familiar to you already. And if you know any maths, if you're familiar with geometry, if you know anything about engineering or science, there's a number of letters that will also be familiar to you. So pi, who doesn't know pi, the circumference of a circle? Who doesn't know what a delta is? So there you go. You already can read some Greek. The alphabet is very familiar to you. There's a few more that you would need to acquire, and you're on your way. Now, as I said, you even speak Greek already. You can read it. You already know some of the alphabet, but I think you probably can speak some Greek already. So I'm sure you're doing maths. Well, guess what? The word mathematics comes from mathematike. Mathematica I've written there. Here it is written in Greek, mathematike, and here I have it transliterated. That means I put the Greek letters into Roman letters so that you can understand them. So that's a word that comes straight to us from Greek. And in fact, all of maths, or much of maths I should say, comes from Greek. Lots of words in maths would be familiar to you from the Greek. So here I've got arithmetic. It's another Greek word, arithmos. Cylinder, kolindros, another Greek word. Rhombus, here we have it again in Greek. So all of these words come from the Greek. Sphere, sphira, straight from the Greek. And then words for shapes. I've got tetrahedron there. You're probably familiar with a tetrahedron or a pentagon. So a tetrahedron is a four-sided shape. Yep, comes from Greek. Tetra meaning four and hedron meaning plane. Pentagon, again, comes from the Greek. Penta comes from the Greek word for five, and gon comes from the Greek word meaning an angle. And maybe you've seen one of these, an octopus. Yes, it comes from Greek, octo, and here's the word pus, which means foot in Greek, eight-footed, the eight-footed creature. They knew them in Greece, and there on the slide you can see a Greek octopus. Maybe you know some music. Again, the world of music. Lots of it comes from Greek. So even that word, music, musike, it comes from the Greek. Rhythm, we've got rhythmos, timpani. Yes, they had one of those. Lyre, lura. Even the hymn, even that is a Greek word, hymnos. And here, of course, we've got a xylophone. It's Greek. Greek is all around us. So the world of history, the world of politics, archaeology, philosophy, economics, technology, all these areas of thinking and endeavour and study, all the words that relate or describe these areas of study are Greek words. So the Greeks thought of it first, way before we did. So here again, you can have a look at the words all thought of long before us. All right, so I just wanted to say a couple more things. If you decided you've never done Greek, but you've suddenly realised, actually, I do know quite a lot of Greek, one of the first things that I would talk to you about is the article. Yeah, the article. So why is that special? Well, English has two articles. So you know that word the, and you know the indefinite article a or an. And the definite article is the one that marks the noun as specific or unique. So the king of Persia led his army against the Greeks. So here's a definite article, and here's a definite article. Here's another one. Socrates was the philosopher who spoke the truth. Definite article. So why am I telling you about this? Well, let's continue. English and many modern European languages, French, German, Italian, Spanish, also have two articles. They've got the indefinite article and they have the definite article. And there they are. You can peruse them if you would like. Now, interestingly, Latin, also an ancient language, in fact, a cognate language with Greek, descended from a common ancestor, so they're related. Latin and Russian has no definite article and no indefinite article. So we have to work it out from context, what's going on. Is it the apple or is it an apple? And Greek, interestingly enough, has a definite article, but only a part-time indefinite article. It does have a little word tis, which can function as an indefinite article, but it's more likely just to leave the word bear to indicate whether or not it's indefinite. So that's an interesting kind of fact, isn't it? Many languages have got a definite article and an indefinite article. English certainly has both, but Latin has neither, and Greek has a definite article. Now, the other special thing I want to tell you about the Greek article is that it has quite a lot of functions, way more than what it might do in English. So, in addition to the fact that it does more work, the Greek article declines. Declines means that it changes its shape to agree with the noun that it's going with. So say it was the dog and the dog was considered masculine, then we'd have to have an article whose form was masculine. If it was the horse and it was a female horse, then the article would need to be the feminine form. So that's what I mean by an article declining. As well, an article declines in number. So number means whether a noun is singular or plural, and maybe you know already, but ancient Greek has another number. It has dual number. Can you work out what that might be? It's when there's two of something, 2 hills, 2 eyes, 2 feet. So Greek has singular, dual, and plural number, and an article needs to reflect that. And finally, an article can change shape yet again. So not only does it show gender, masculine, feminine, neuter, not only does it show whether something is singular, dual, or plural, but it also agrees with the noun that is modifying in case. And there are a number of cases in Greek. And if you don't know what case is, you have to come along to Greek and find out what's case. That's a story for another day, which I'm not going to share with you right this second. So what are these 4 extra uses of the definite article? So first of all, Greek uses the definite article to refer to an abstract noun. We might use, and I'll show you in a second how an article works then. It refers to groups and classes. Greek always uses a definite article to refer to a proper noun, and sometimes the Greek definite article can be used to show possession, so quite different to what you'd expect from English. Let's take a quick look. So here I've got an abstract noun, wisdom. In Greek, they don't just say Sophia, they say Her Sophia, the wisdom. We wouldn't translate it that way, but Greek always uses a definite article. Justice, we say justice, they say Her Dike, the justice. Freedom, Her Eleutheria, we say freedom, they say Her Eleutheria. So in a way, you might think, doesn't quite make sense, but it does. There's only one of each abstract concept, generally speaking. So you might say our freedom, but only in a very particular sense. So you can see how that works in Greek. And here I've got a picture of Sophia, the goddess. For groups and classes, we might use the definite article in English for nationalities and for adjectives that are used like nouns. So we might say the Poles, the rich. Greek uses it more generally for any class of people. English only uses it occasionally, but Greek uses it all the time. So we might say poets are amazing, but they would say hoi poetai, the poets, not in a specific way, but in a way that refers to a group or class. And sometimes Greek might use it to generalise about a type of person when using a singular noun. So English does the same. The coward does it with a kiss, the brave man with a sword. Now this one can be a sticking point sometimes for people. It seems a little counterintuitive. So Greek often uses a definite article with the proper name. So hot priamos, priam, the priam. Te Helene, for Helen. See, I've got the definite article there for the Helen. Ho Socrates, there's Socrates on the right. He wasn't known for his good looks. Ho Socrates with the definite article. So again, this fits logically into the functions of the definite article. We're talking about one unique individual. And while there's usually many people sharing a Greek name, we're only talking about one of them. So it makes sense that Greek uses the definite article with proper names. So for instance, say I said, I saw Socrates in the Agora, and you might say, what? The Socrates? The one and only. And finally, Greek uses a definite article as a possessive. So it's used to indicate that a noun belongs to someone in the sentence, often the subject. So for instance, I love my children. You'd use the definite article. In the absence of any other kind of information, and if the context makes it clear, we can assume the definite article is to be used as a possessive. There I've got another example. The man leads his horse. We can assume it's his own horse, not somebody else's horse. So there you have it. The Greek article, it does so much more work than the English article. So that's just one of the many amazing things about Greek. Its Greekness. There are similarities between Greek and English, and yet Greek is itself. It's a tricky, it's a complicated language, but it's also incredibly flexible, it's rhythmic. In fact, I find it quite beautiful. And if you come along to the University of Sydney, you too can enjoy the wonderful language that is ancient Greek. So I'm going to finish right there. If you would like to get in touch, please do. You can contact me at the University of Sydney. If you go to the University of Sydney website and navigate to Classics and Ancient History, my name is Tamara Neal, and I'm really happy to answer any questions that you may have about your study now or your study in the future. Thank you so much for listening today. Bye-bye.